Hello, my name is Joseph Flack. Now I'm going to talk about the work that I was able to complete in this milestone. And to do that, I'm going to open build 70 of the Ragamuffin capstone project. Alright. And in order to view all my work, we can do all that within the boss fight here. So what I will be doing first is showing off. We can go ahead and get Perforce out of here. I'll be showing off the player dash. So I wasn't able to complete this one due to some scope with the other issue that I worked on this month. It was way bigger than what I thought it was going to be. Both of my issues turned out to be complete, almost complete rewrites of the functionality that was originally there. So for this one, what I was able to complete, took me around a day, was the player not being able to dash off of ledges, and the player being able to dash upstairs without colliding with the stair geometry. So going up the stairs is not an issue, as well as I guess we can use the corner of this. I unfortunately don't have a ledge in this. If I try to dash this way off of this ledge, doesn't happen. So that was another thing that was fixed. Those are the two issues with the dash. So now I can go up here and get into the boss fight encounter, and we can see what sort of things I did to improve that. So that was my other issue, was to update the rock troll boss fight. So this one is strucken out, and the reason it is because this is not a bug that's actually caused by the rock troll. I was having scope issues as is. It's something to do with the attack or an animation or something, but it's not the rock troll. All of our AI are actually affected by this issue, so I did remove that from my completion criteria. So the first one we have is the rock troll pursues the player after each attack. So when it attacks, doesn't matter if I am in this radius, he'll still come for me. We had a bug to where it would stop that if they were close, but that was fixed by rewriting that logic. So I just go through here and knock some of his health down. He will get up and start to do another attack, which is his AoE attack. And afterwards, if I can get him back down into the level geometry, he pursues after every attack. Alright, so just getting him back into the state that he was previously. I just restarted. If you see, after every attack, he will pursue the player. Except his final attacks. Final attack is actually a kamikaze attack that kills him, so he does not pursue after that one. Alright, and looking at more completion criteria, there's a visual effects indication of the damage radius just before the troll's attack, as we see there. And that's for his AoE attack in specific. And the kamikaze projectile is destroyed once it was thrown. It did just persist in the world. So what I will do is go through and knock him into that kamikaze phase, hopefully without knocking him back into this corner, into some funky... There we go. I believe, while I'm just doing nothing and knocking his health down, I believe that the root motion of this attack here, that one, has something to do with what's going on. So it's just something that we need to look at and fix. So getting him down into his kamikaze attack, which he should be doing now. Alright, when he does get it, and he doesn't kill me with it, it is destroyed. Alright, so had to take him down again. Now we should proc him to do his kamikaze. I'm gonna try my hardest to not get killed by it. Okay. Hopefully the third time is the charm here. Alright, so this is so sad it's not even funny anymore. This should be the last time. Let's hope that I don't run into a portal or get hit by a rock here, and I can demonstrate that. The rock destroys itself. That's it. Done. Those are all the issues that I worked on. Stick around. Fink has his work coming up next.
Hey everybody, my name is Daniel Fink. I am programmer for Team Ragamuffin, and I'll be going through my sprint for our sprint review. And when I do say sprint, I mean my sprint. So, as the advanced player combat system, I want to feel more fluid during refuge and combat states of play. So, during this time, I took care of, we pretty much reworked the whole combat system. So as completion criteria, it was pretty simple. I made subtasks as check boxes as I go down. As the player, when I left click, the player character attacks. When the player avatar attacks, there is an animation dictating the input. As the player, when I left click the mouse more than once, the player avatar makes a combo attack. Okay, the player avatar, when I attack in succession, I do more than one attack animation. Okay, as the player, when I right click the mouse, the player character will block. When I block, it'll animate doing so. When I block, I'll take no damage. I want to have a basic sword swipe, so this probably should have been up top. I want to chain attacks as a combo. I want to add a sword swipe animation. Oh, that's the same. Sorry, I was rereading it from the same one. So as a player, I activated dash and feature when I use the space button. When I dash, I want to damage enemies, I go through a hit. As a player, when I attack enemy mummies, the mummies take damage. And as I attack the enemy spider, the spider takes damage. The enemy mage, the mage takes damage. So it's all kind of basic stuff. Let's flip over to Perforce. Ragamuffin, Windows Editor, the exe. Let's pop it open. Okay, so I'm just going to go and start the game. Alright. You have to continue. Alright, so when I left click, the player character attacks. When the player avatar attacks, the animation dictating the input, which is one sword swipe, okay. As a player, when I left click the mouse more than once, the player avatar makes a combo attack, so 1, 2. Okay. When I attack in succession, there's more than one animation. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright. right click, I block. I also have the animation doing so. I have a basic sword swipe. I can chain attacks as a combo. Okay. Okay, so next would be the enemies I damage to make sure that my attacks are indeed damaging. And the block. Okay, first enemy. So it takes 2 hits to kill the normal enemy, which would be the mummy. This is the mage. Why can't I hit? Oh, I did hit him. Ha! I just had to aim the attack. That's on me. And then I'm going to do the dash one too. And he takes damage. As well as the attack. So, that works. So that was the mummy and the mage. So I need to find a spider, which is right here. And kill them. So I can do the damage. So I'm chaining attacks all the way through. Alright. Pick up the gold. Alright. So, let me press pause, and I'm going to switch back over to Argira. Okay, I did demonstrate that the left click works. When the player avatar attacks, there's an animation, left click. It does do more than one attack and more than one animation. I do have to block, so we're going to hop back over there and do the block. The dash does damage when I hit enemies, which I've shown. The blocking does animate. I can chain attacks as a combo. The mummy took damage, the spider took damage, the mage took damage. And let's jump back in real quick and showcase the block of me taking no damage. Well, I mean, we're going to take damage and then take none. So let me... Okay, so let me read this note. Gate opens. Okay, so I'm going to go, I am taking damage. Okay, I'm going to back up, and then I'm going to block. I'm not taking any damage. My health is no longer going down. Okay. Do a little bit more combat. Alright, combat's done. I'm made to the next spot. Alright, so hopefully that showcases everything that I did. I did go through the completion criteria, and I believe I hit upon all the marks. This has been great. Again, my name is Daniel. I am combat programmer for Team Ragamuffin. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Stephen Fedor. I am with Team Ragamuffin. Today we are going to go over my tasks for this sprint. We are going to open change list 987013 for the build. Oh yeah. For this, I am level 2. We did the basic IPM strategy where the first level is introduction, the second level is practice, and the third level is mastery. So we're going to go over my issue, my story. As a player, I want a level to practice the mechanics shown in the previous level and use them to survive and complete the level. The intermediate level will help the player understand the combat systems a little bit more by practicing hitting more enemies, blocking attacks, and using the abilities you have learned in the previous level. Having the player practice getting pickups will give the player the understanding that to complete the game they must collect and manage the items and they don't die constantly. Having the player use their knowledge on the combat systems, the player will hit destructible objects to gain gold and mana potions. The player will engage enemies that vary in difficulty by utilizing what they have learned and practice timing and utilize abilities to progress. Having hazards and locked doors will help the player practice avoiding and timing, then they don't die to said hazards, and the doors will vary in difficulty, mainly having key doors as a blockade for the player. The player must practice searching for the keys to progress. This level will be used to let the player practice what was learned from the introduction level. The completion criteria covers level has to have enemies placed in the level has to have destructible items, levels must have key doors, must have keys, it must have rune pillars placed into it, rune doors, must have hazards varying in difficulty throughout the level, have an end portal go to the next level, a physical representation of a level, referring to starting it up and having that level load. Research and development. Players should be able to navigate through the level to reach the end portal without too much trouble, which is the win condition. If the player dies and don't have enough coins to revive, they lose. The level must have healing items placed throughout the level, inside the refuges. Must have mana potions placed around the level. Must have gold coins placed around the level. Must have jump pads. Must have at least 2 refuges. And must have a valve for every room. And must have at least 1 gate. So to go over that, we will go into the game. You can see there is a valve. You can't go back. Gold coins placed throughout the level. There's mana potions. Destructible items. Able to collect coins and so on and so forth. There is a hazard, which is the spike, or not spike, but rotating blade. Another valve. Some coins. You can see that there's enemies placed throughout the level. And multiple hazards, which are these spike traps. Here is a key placed in for the key door. More destructible items. This is a healing item right here. So I was able to heal. I'm able to unlock the key door. There is a turret hazard. This is where they need to practice avoiding and timing. If not, they get hit by it. The player must look for keys, so there's a key under here. Door will not open on this side, so to navigate, which you can see that there are symbols. This is for the pillar door. You can see says you have no runes correct, so you need to look and find the rest of the runes. So this one is a sideways G. Those are the jump pads that are in the completion criteria. So sideways G is one of them. then the next one was the eyeballs. Some keys, some healing items. So there's the eyeball. You can see that these are this is all one level. This is like a refuge, due to the fact that it had healing items over there and a treasure room on this side, and not very much enemy base. I was able to open the door successfully, which is the pillars, and it does have the 2 pillars like I said in the first section. More destructible items, more enemies. Utilizing skills and practice blocking and everything from said enemies. Grab a key. It has healing. And this is the second room by design. It does have multiple key doors just to give some variance for the player. Notice that there's this over here. Tells you to hold to lower it, which is a bridge. Concept behind this room is that it's a mirror room. That the next area is pretty much mirrored. From the previous room. This kind of gives a break to the player as well. Without having to worry about too much enemies. More hazards for progressing through the level. So this area does have 3 different sections for the rune door. If I go up and press F, it still says that I do not have enough, or the runes are not correct. So this is green, and this one's red, so that's not going to be the right one. So that's a UG, I think, or GU. So red's up here, and then you can see yellow right there, so that's AE for the yellow. Right here. And then you can see the sideways G for the green. So we'll go to the green. Sideways G. And then the last room, or last pillar, is that N. The NG. And I'm able to go through and progress to the next level. So I do need to go over a couple more things about dying, and showing that if they have enough gold they can either respawn or not respawn. Go through, collect as much gold as possible without getting hit by this too many times. Go around, collect gold. I think it's 500 gold to be able to respawn. So we'll just collect that amount here in a second. Alright, so I have 500, so I'm gonna go end this guy's life real quick. So revival costs 500. Well, that sucks. So we'll give you another chance for a price. So it says 500 gold. I'm able to start up again, and it gives you the cool little shield. But now if I don't have enough and end up dying, this is for the lost condition. If I don't have enough gold,
Leave and come back when you have more gold.
I don't have enough gold. So it restarts the whole level. Let's verify that we went through everything on the completion criteria. There were enemies placed in the level. They have destructible items placed into there. Has key doors. Has keys. Has the rune pillars. Has the rune doors. Has hazards varying in difficulty. Does have an end portal that goes to the next level. It does represent a physical level. Level and research. I will go through that here in a second. Players should be able to navigate through the level and reach the end portal without too much trouble, which was present because I was able to go through it without too much trouble. We just verified if the player dies and doesn't have enough coins, they lose. Does have healing items. Does have mana potions. Does have gold coins placed around. Did have multiple jump pads. At least 2 refuges, which I did show. A valve for every room, which you saw. The jump pads caused valves where they couldn't come back. There were the gates that came up to block the player from coming back. And at least 1 gate, which were the doors for the first room pillar, as well as the other locked doors. So we have completed all those. For the small criterias, mummies were placed in the level varying in stages. Mages placed in there in the first after the first refuge, and spiders placed around the level to hinder the player, which there are plenty of spiders inside there. The next one, destructible items. I do have destructible vases, destructible doors, destructible boxes, and destructible walls. I do have all those in there, which were presented by with the exploding barrels, and also me whacking the vases and boxes. We physically seen the end portal. Needs a portal place at the end of the level, which were completed. And level research and development. This was mainly used for designing the dungeon. It gave me some ideas on how to properly have a pretty much practice area on and level setup. So the research level for the dungeon on how to properly have the player engaged throughout the level. So a lot of it came down to my understanding of what players would like. And I did take about 45 minutes on that specific subtask to go through these. Um, Level has enemies placed. It took me about an hour and a half to do all that because you want to have proper playthrough procedures where it's not too difficult or too easy. I went 30 minutes over for destructible items due to the fact that I didn't really know what I wanted to place, and when I did, I felt like it didn't flow well. So I logged an hour on that one. On varying hazards, it took me about an hour 35. It's the same concept before. As before, it just I didn't know where I wanted to place them and how difficult I wanted to make the player or make the level for the player. End portal took me 15 minutes, so that wasn't really anything. And level research and development took me about 45 minutes. Overall, um, all this together took me about, let's see, 8, 16, 24 hours, 27 hours and 35 minutes to complete. Um, Building all the individual geometry, flooring, and making sure that it fit right without having the player run out. So it took me quite a while. So you can see right here, 3 days, 3 hours, 35 minutes logged. Other than that, that is all of it. Let's verify and a level. Let's see. All right. Well, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Lucas Guevara with Team Ragamuffin, and I'm going to be showcasing what I did during this sprint. Here, moving on over to Perforce to show us opening the build here, I have Ragamuffin underscore capstone.exe, 70 out of 70, or the build revision number 987013. We open this up here, we get our team logo, and then into the main menu. So now that this is here, let me go ahead and open up my Jira task. So here I did RG -300. As a player, I want a level to show mastery of what I learned in the previous levels so I can prepare for the boss fight. The completion criteria is just basic level layout and what is going to be in the level and what to expect. So here we have Start Room has a player spawn point. Start Room is circular. Start Room has crates to break. Start Room has 3 to 5 spiders, not complete and or / removed, so this I didn't actually implement. And anything in parentheses I'm going to be changing later after I'm done here recording. I'm going to be, not that. But stuff like no hazards here, the rest area is no longer going to have any hazards in it. But going back over here, Start Room is locked by a key door. The key for the Start Room is under a crate. Introductory Room has 6 to 9 enemies. Introductory Room has explosive barrels placed in a way to help defeat the enemies. Introductory Room has hazards placed in a way so the player has to avoid them and can use them to defeat enemies. That is just something legacy. I didn't realize that the spikes don't actually damage the enemies, so that's just legacy information that I can also get rid of. The same way I'm going to be changing stuff here. Here, Introductory Room has crates to break. Introductory Room ends with a staircase going up. Introductory Room ends or exit is blocked by a key lock door that is changed to a flame altar door. In Rest Area 1 has 2 to 3 health pickups. Rest Area 1 has a blue potion. It has 1 to 3 rotating hazards, crates to break, and a crank bridge as a valve. I'm just gonna say the practice and intermediate room has, and then whatever it does have instead of repeating myself. So the practice and intermediate room has 11 to 15 enemies, has explosive barrels placed in a way to defeat the enemies, has hazards placed in a way so the player has to avoid them, has crates to break, has a yellow potion, has a rune door, and has 3 runes to unlock the door, has 3 rune pillars to unlock the door. And then here inside Rest Area 2, Rest Area 2 has health pickups, Rest Area 2 has crates, a blue potion, rotating blade hazards delayed, spike trap, time spike hazards are all removed. Same with the key door and the key for the key door. That was changed to just a simple branching staircase, and that gets you through the valve there, or that gets you through the rest area there. Master Room has 13 to 16 areas spawned in each subroom. I wasn't actually able to figure out how the valve doors worked in a way to get it to where I wanted to have like a coliseum at the end. You had your main room and 3 separate rooms out the sides to have enemies spawn in and fight them. That was swapped to just to have them spawn in on a wave basis. Here the Mastery Room has explosive barrels, and that should say placed in a way to help defeat enemies. Master Room has a yellow potion, has hazards placed in a way so the player has to avoid them. Mastery Room has a valve door to exit, and the Exit Room has a level portal. Exit Room was kind of moved into the Master Room because I couldn't figure out how the valve doors worked. Here level has rest areas in between each main area. This is just basic completion criteria at this point. The level is more challenging to combat enemies. The level has more destructible items than the intermediate level. The level has more items to interact with and will go more in depth for the player. The level will have locked doors that will force the player to use surrounding clues to unlock the doors. The level has more hazards than the previous level. I'll redo that. The level has more hazards than the previous levels, making the player practice dodging and timing. The level has rune pillars and rune door placed into the level. Level has an end portal and level has a level end and why can't I read this? Level has an end portal, then the player can go to the next level. That's just because it's not written correctly. But the level needs to have an end portal so that the player can get to the next level. Going after we go over that, we can go ahead back into here to select level 3 or the mastery level. So here, the spawn room is circular. It does in fact have crates. It has gold stuff to pick up, and if we listen to the completion criteria, breaking up open some of these will reveal us the key right there. So picking that up, we got a key. Just gonna go ahead and break the rest of these because gold ties into our respawns now. So I'm gonna have to use that gold to get myself through here. A little bit of hidden gold or hidden spikes there underneath the gold. Here is the flame altar that I switched out the simple key door for inside of the practice room here. We have the barrels here placed to where we can kind of kite them around and get them to damage themselves on it. There is some hazards here for me to avoid with the spike traps, and then go ahead and light up all of these to continue my way through. Go ahead and light those up. Open that. Oh, well, there's a bug that I found there. I kind of went out of my camera there. It kind of rotated a little bit. That little rotation, it was not supposed to happen. Break that open. Walls. Oh. Get around that. Use this barrel here. Kind of looked like the... I didn't even go stuck on the barrel there. Yeah, collision for the barrel. I'd open that last one. I'm actually going to go grab that potion. It's very useful. And hope I don't smack myself on any of these traps. I am at 25 health. Ooh, that was close. Let me grab this. After seeing that guy, I probably should have popped a potion just to be safe. But we have 1 health pickup here inside. So this is that was the flame altar door there. Opening it up, we activated all the flame altars in that room to open this. I find it really hard to commentate while gaming, so that's kind of why I just did that. We have a hallway that's blocked off by bookshelves there that forces you to go through this trapped area with some crates and health to pick up. So there's the 2 to 3 health pickups, and there's the blue potion. I can't actually pick it up because I'm full. But then we go ahead into leaving the rest area. Here is the practice and intermediate room. We see we broke that crate there, and it revealed a rune on the wall. So here we have the rune pillars in this room. Break open some of this. Can't actually see a lot of that. Something I need to work on. Go ahead and break open more of these and try to find more of the runes here. Actually, I'm gonna go here and break open this. See if there's anything behind there. No, but it gave us another potion, so let me just go ahead and use that so we don't have so many just laying around here. So AEOO, that looks like green, not blue. That looks like yellow. So here is where we put the AE. Oh, there's our green rune. See if I can't find any health in here. I see some over here. Let's heal up. Break some more crates open, and then we have AU. So let's go ahead and put in the rune here, which we saw at the beginning was the yellow AE. Pick up some of this gold here too. Yeah. Break that open. Pop this just so I don't get smacked by the traps at all. Being slow. And I have so many in this room. I can just use that up. Sideways A. Pick that up. Nope. Use that before I'll go back and pick that up later. Make our way down this way. Now we're able to exit. So that was the rune door there. Going through, we do have all of the crates and such that was meant to be placed in here. The barrels that I actually didn't use too many of. I placed a bare minimum amount of enemies in here, and I do feel like there should be quite a bit more enemies inside of here. Or something similar with what's happening inside of the next room, where there should be some waves or something like that. But that area is a little light on combat. Here, when we spawn, or when we walk through that area, we have a bunch of these enemies spawn in. Go ahead and take them all out. Oh. Around here. Some of these explosives. Oh, that's big. Dash through them. Use a little bit of this. Oh. Yep. Let's go. Oh. I need to go grab this beast mode potion. Get myself a little cheeky heal out. I almost died there. Alright. Oh, there he is. There's a couple more. Thought that was it, that little wave there. Oh, interesting. I made the barrel big. I picked it up in beast mode. Oh, we kill all of the enemies here. And the valve doors go down, allowing us to exit. Going into the boss fight level here. So that was what I completed during the sprint. If we go back to the main menu. Quick game, yeah. Go back into the level select again for level 3. Let's do a brief overview on what I have in here. So the spawn room was in fact circular. It had crates and such to break. Same with the introductory room. It had the explosive crates and all of that stuff in there. Also had hazards placed in a way for you to avoid them. At the end, it did go into a staircase blocked by the fire altar door. So let's go ahead and do a quick little run through of that. Just quickly, boom, key right there under crate, open the door, make our way through. There is hazards placed. There are the flame altar doors placed throughout here. Or flame altars placed for the flame altar door. Ending with it going up here in a staircase. Ending with the flame altar door. Making our way through. Rest area 1 has at least 2 to 3 health pickups. The blue potion, crates to break, and hazards to avoid. Lowering the bridge here to make it to the next area. We have the runes. We have 1 rune here. We have 1 rune pillar. We have a fake rune here, so this one doesn't actually correlate to anything to kind of get the player to think. We have another fake rune there. another fake rune here, or that is actually a real rune, so that's rune number 2. Rune pillar number 2 as well. And then real rune with a real pillar here. After you go through and you, let's go ahead and solve this. After we solve the puzzle, that's already set. Let's put this to AE. And then let's put this, oh, let's actually just demonstrate this before. So I have 2 of the runes correct there. Let me go ahead and get through here, grab this. And swap this over to they. Make our way out this way, back to the rune. So these valve doors will not open at the end here because I haven't killed everyone in the level. But here in the rest area 2, we have at least 2 to 3 health pickups there, and then some crates and such to break here. Exiting out this way. Let's actually double check to see if that is everything in rest area 2. I don't believe that is. Oh yeah, rest area 2, and because everything here was taken out. Rest area 2 unfortunately does not have a blue potion though. I'm now noticing that. Rest area 2, this should have at least 1 blue potion for us, but that doesn't seem to be an issue if we do break all of the crates throughout the map. Making our way through here. The end room has the beast mode potion. It has some crates and such to break, and has barrels with enemies here spawning. So you saw the first wave spawn there. If we wait about 14 seconds, we'll have another set spawn in. We just move them all so they don't get stuck. So I'll have the second set spawn in there, and then we make our way running around again, and the third set should spawn in here soon. And boom, there's the third wave. And I won't actually be able to demonstrate moving again, but there was the 1, 2, 3 waves there. And it does spawn about 13 each time. I'm just using the same spawn where it does spawn 13, running that 2 or 3 times. Or 3 times, not 2 times. So there, that was my level. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to Nick.
Hi there, my name is Nicholas Jackson, part of Team Ragamuffin, and I'm going to be showcasing what I worked on during our sprint these last couple weeks. And so we're going to go ahead and open up our build from changeless 987013. You can see right here. Let's go ahead and open that up. Going to get through this little splash screen here and then into our main menu. And once we get in there, I just want to go ahead and turn that music down. All right, so we're going to start with our first issue here, which was my refinement of the main menu itself. So RG257 as the main menu, I want to run on a single widget and level so that I can run smoother in transitioning between menu options. The main menu will no longer be split up in between multiple widgets or levels and will now be utilizing a single widget and level for when the game starts up, allowing for a nice smooth transition between each menu option. So our completion criteria for this one was transition between each menu smoothly, have the back button be uniform among all the menus, add a how to play section that covers controls and how to use each ability, and then put a sound effect on the release of the sound effects slider in the option menu so you can hear the difference after changing the volume. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that looks. So this is our main menu here. So first I'm going to show we got our transitions here. So it's kind of transitioning back and forth between each one. Opening them up. When you open them, you can't click on anything that, you know, was there before. None of this stuff is clickable. All right, our next one is going to be our back button placement. So I want everything to be nice and uniform, so you always know in the bottom left is your back button, so you know how to get back to, no matter what menu you're in, you can get back to the main menu. You don't have to search for it. Get that nice and uniform. And then we're going to show our how to play. So I have my how to play, which is showing on a, cutout look of the keyboard here. So our movement was our, WASD. We have our fire tornado, which is E, as you can see it color coded it here, space, and then Q. And then ranged attack is left shift. We have this beast mode, which is X. And we have a melee attack and a shield block on our mouse, left and right. And then finally we have our our F to interact button. So this is showcasing the controls for you, which is nice. Kind of will let you see, what the controls are before you jump in the game if you need to. And then last, we got our option slider for sound effects. So we can slide this down, and I'm going to let go, let you listen to the little sound cue.
Leave and come back when you have more gold.
All right. And then we're going to turn it up.
Leave and come back when you have more gold.
Put it more in the
Leave
middle.
and come back when you have more gold.
And you can kind of just gives you a better
Leave and come back when you have more
better
gold.
feel for like, okay, this is what the audio is going to be when I let go. So that way, hey, I know what the audio levels are actually going to be like. So let's go ahead. So that one is all complete. So let's go ahead and, this one overall, like combining all this, it actually took me 4 hours working on this. So it was just combining a bunch of different stuff. We had a couple different people, myself included. We had 2 of us originally putting like the main menu and a lot of the widgets together. So it's just, people doing it kind of their own way. So now I'm refining it to kind of fine tune it a little bit and make it all the same, make it uniform and look and feel the same. All right, so let's move on to RG266. So as the player, I would like to turn and rotate faster so that I can turn around faster in combat and make my combat operate more smoothly. So I'm going to go ahead and just going to pop into a level here. All right. So when I hit, A, I go left, D, I go right, W's up, S is down, right? So I'm moving and I want to move down. There's that slight rotation there. Beforehand, it used to be like, it would almost do this. Like if I hit this is W to S, but the way it used to feel is more like here to here to here to, it was a little bit more like, it felt more like you're running like this versus just turning. So yeah, so that's that. So that way I can attack here and then I can quickly turn over here and then, I didn't want to fire a tornado back of the way, keep fighting some people here. Just lets you kind of fight a little better there. So all in all, this one took me about 30 minutes to kind of fine tune and adjust, find a speed that I really liked for turning for the character, and setting that up. So next one we have is as the player. So this is RG265. So as the player, I would no longer like to have a set amount of lives so I can continue fighting on my journey no matter how many times I die, as long as I have enough gold to offer the gods to bring me back. So removing the lives variable for the player and replacing it with a gold value that will be required to respawn and continue my battle. So the completion criteria here is I just need to remove the lives from the player and no longer tracked on the player HUD. So the only part I can really showcase in the build, so you can't see that they're not on the player, but you can see that there is nowhere on the HUD. I don't have a lives. I used to have a live section like up here in the top right. And so it used to be right up here. That's no longer there. So we don't have that anymore. So yeah, so that one is complete, and that one only took me about 15 minutes to remove the stuff from the HUD and then to also remove it from the player and anywhere that everything was being put on the player. So my next issue we're going to go over is going to be RG258. So as a pause menu, I want to have access to the how to play section of the game so that I can inform the player of which buttons do what, just in case they forget. So the pause menu will have the newly created how to play section available in case the player needs a refresher on the controls. So our completion criteria is display the how to play controls when the player when the option is selected, and then have a back button to return to the main menu. So let's take a look in game here. We have this how to play. So, I hit pause, go to how to play, and we have that same setup we had before. We still have our back menu in the bottom left, so everything is still uniform even from the main menu. Click on that, takes us back to the pause menu. This one took roughly about an hour and a half. After I already had the how to play created, it was easy just to kind of duplicate it and into the pause menu here. All right, so my next issue I'm going to cover is RG263. So as the gold pickup, I want to have different size variation so that the player may pick up a different amount of gold depending on the size of the gold pile. So for this one, we're actually going to have 4 sizes of gold pickups. So we have our small, medium, we have large, and chest. I just realized because I added the chest, and so I just realized that I forgot to adjust that on here, because as we know, there's always adjustments being made. So let's showcase that new description there. All right, so we'll have 4 sizes of gold pickup: small, medium, large, and chest. So the completion criteria, so small will be worth 10 gold, the medium is going to be worth 30, the large will be worth 50, and our chest is going to be worth 100. So in this room alone, we already can see we have some gold here. So these are the small ones. So these are worth 10. So 720, 730, 740. All right, now 750. So these other ones that are on the ground here, this is a chest in the middle. These other ones are actually our largest. So this is going to give me 50 a piece. So you'll see 800. As you see, oh, I picked up the chest, gave me 100. So I'm actually going to do real quick. I just wanted to jump. This first level here gives a real great spot where it's real easy to showcase all these different golds. So I'm just gonna run up there real quick. This is, kind of introduce the player to some combat. All right. All right, so these are gonna drop. Kill some spiders there. So this next section is the one I'm talking about real quick. I'm just wait for this door to drop. All right, just gotta kill these guys, all these guys real quick. All right. Wait for this real quick. All right, so as I was saying, so I'm at 1230. So if I run straight forward, I'm going to hit this chest, and that should take me to 1330, right? So that's 100. The one directly to my right is our medium. It's more square shaped. This one is going to be worth 30 a piece. So this will take me up to 1360. And then we have our small ones, which are 10, 80, 90, 14, 30. So now if I run into one of these other ones, there's a large one, this will jump me up to 1480. You can see we got our 50s, 30s, and then we had our 10s in our chest. So that shows all 4 of those. So that's always a great area to showcase that. All right. And then, oops. I accidentally hit the wrong key and just close out. So let's reopen that real quick. My bad.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Again, turn that music down. Oh.
Leave and come back when you
All
have
right.
more gold.
Let's just jump in. All right. Me trying to get over to a different screen and accidentally closed it there. All right. So my next issue I'm going to showcase is going to be, or actually, I'm sorry, I think I forgot to mention. So our gold pickup, this one actually only took me about 30 minutes to make. It was just setting up the other little extra meshes that we already had sitting around, and then making an enumerator that just changed the value based on which selection you use. So anyways, it was just real quick and easy. This one was pretty straightforward to set up. That one's going to tie pretty much into like kind of like our lives one we had, where we're talking about, hey, we need to use the gold to revive, get rid of the lives itself. So that kind of ties in there right here for RG259, which is as the game over menu. I want to give the player the ability to revive using gold so that the player can utilize their gold for trying to continue onward through the game. So the game over menu will now be renamed to the "You died" message, and it will display the cost of gold to revive. The gold cost will be set a set amount that will increase based on the total amount of gold the player has, and will have a minimum amount of gold needed to revive. If the player doesn't have enough gold, it will display a message to restart the level instead. So for our completion criteria, we have a minimum amount of gold for revival set to 500 gold. Display the gold cost to the player, increase the gold amount needed to revive based on the total amount of gold the player has. Respawn the player in their last known location if they have enough gold. You're also going to respawn the player with a 3-second immunity to allow them to move to safety after reviving if they have enough gold. We also remove the gold from the player when they press the respawn button, display the restart level button if the player has insufficient funds, and reset the player's gold to 0 if they had insufficient gold to respawn. So I'm going to run through and we're going to take a look at how this is going to look in a level here. Picked up the key so I could open that. So I'm going to pick up just, then let's first do like, all right, I only got 320 gold, right? I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to die on these little spikes here. So I don't have enough gold, right? So it's going to display this, hey, don't have enough gold. I died. You can see I have 320. I'm going to click this. It will restart me back to 0. Let's go ahead and pick up. Let's do this again real quick. I'm going to pick up just so I got, 520. It's good enough there. Just kill these guys for the heck of it. All right, I'm just going to die on these little spikes real quick. All right. So this time you'll see my revival cost, 500 gold. So this lets me, so like I could restart and not pay it and restart and keep, try again. Or we can say, all right, let's go ahead and, survive or keep going. So, and what you'll notice is as soon as I click this, my character, when they respawn, they're going to have a little fire shield protecting them, which will protect me from damage for 3 seconds. So if I stand here, notice I didn't take damage. Now I did take damage. So I got 20. So let's just get, there's more gold back here. Just want to increase my gold here. so 1370. I'm just trying to increase my gold. Hit a new threshold for reviving. All right, so I got 3,400. So you can see this should cost me it's 1,000. Yep, so 1,000 here is our next threshold for sure. You can see now I got 2,400. You see that guy tried hitting me, did no damage because my shield was up. All right. Good. All right, so basically kind of concludes everything that showed there. So just gonna pause real quick. So this issue overall took me, I estimated about a day, but it actually only took me 5.5 hours. It was a lot quicker than I was expecting. I did expect it to take me longer just due to never really doing a respawn in place, like restarting the character in place after they died. So getting that in the HUD and stuff, all to kind of like make sure it's resetting, tracking their health, trying to make sure I did all that was kind of interesting. I've never done it. Like I said, I've never done it before, so I wanted to make sure I was, doing it right. I did a little bit of research, so I gave myself a little bit of time just to kind of look up some stuff in my downtime. And then I definitely really actually enjoyed setting this up. So I'll definitely be continuing to use something like this in the future. Restarting where the player's at instead of just restarting a level, that is. So my next and final one is going to be RG260. So as the game win screen, I want to display the stats about how the player did on their journey through the dungeon so that I can let the player know how well they did on this adventure. So the win screen will now display how many times the player died, how many crowns they collected and carried to the end of a level on their journey, how much gold they spent on revives, and how much gold they made it out of the dungeon with. So our completion criteria is going to display the player's stats for them to see within the text for the dungeon's end. Make each of the player stats stand out within the text by making it bold format and giving it a unique color, and then have it a button to return to the main menu. So I'm just going to finish up this level, which will then take me to our little boss fight level. So I'm going to just kind of fast forward and get myself there. So I will see you when I'm at the boss. All right, welcome back. So as you can see, I just defeated the boss. So you notice the end of the other level is red portal. So that's kind of our end of a level portal. And now we have like the actual end of the dungeon into the game portal. So I'm going to run into this here. Didn't get a crown bonus. So we have like a little, hey, congratulations message. We're going to click here. All right. So this is going to showcase my stats. So I died 3 times. I didn't collect any crowns, but the total gold collected was 8,630. Because of respawning, my total gold I spent on respawns was 2,500, and that dropped my total gold that I made it out of the dungeon with was 6,130. So if you notice, that was the gold I had at the end, like on the HUD there. So this is showing how much I picked up, how much I actually ended the game with, and then why I only ended with this much is because I died and had to respawn a few times. So So that showcases everything for RG 260. And that is officially the end of, that's the button to go back to the main menu. There we go. And so that basically officially ends everything I had that I worked on during this sprint. This overall took me 3 hours and 45 minutes. It was 45 minutes over what my original estimate was. But the main part was just running into some issues with some making sure that stats tracked correctly from level to level, and then tracking the cost of the cost it took like for revival across level to level. But anyways, so that's all I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this and enjoy what Dawson's gonna have for you next. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dawson Majors with Team Ragamuffin. Today I will be doing my Sprint 1 review video. My issue is RG269, and it states, as the player, I want to be introduced to all the core mechanics or core components of the game so I can learn how to play the game. The description is as follows. The introduction level gives the player an intro to the combat system, which includes attacking, blocking, spear throwing, potion abilities, tornado abilities, and dash abilities. The level also gives an introduction to pickups, which are gold, health pickups, and potions. In addition to pickups, it also introduces destructible objects, which are explosive barrels, vases, and crates. Along with destructible objects, the player is introduced to 2 enemy types, which are the mummy enemies and the spider enemies. Finally, the player is introduced to the doors and hazards, which are hazard time spikes, pressure plate spikes, key doors, and valve doors. This level will be used overall to teach the player how to play the game with the basic mechanics that are listed above. The completion criteria for RG269 is as follows. The level has to have a definitive layout. At the end of the level, the player walks through the portal that leads to the next level, which is the win condition. When the player runs out of gold for reviving and dies, they lose the game, which is the loss condition. Now, to my subtasks, which are also completion criteria of this task, over to RG294, the level introduces these 2 enemy types to the player, which it introduces the mummy enemy and then introduces the spider enemy. 295 is the level introduces the player to these combat system mechanics, which is attacking, blocking attacks, tornado ability, and potion ability. 296 is the level introduces the player to these destructible objects, explosive barrels, vases, and crates. The level introduces the player to these pickups, completion criteria, which is the health pickups for turkey and ham, so the 2 different types of pickups, gold, and potions. 298 is the level introduces the player to these locked doors, which is the key door and the valve door. 299 is the level introduces the player to these hazards, time spikes, and pressure plate spikes. So, if we hop right over onto it, the build I'll be using is Ragamuffin _capstone.exe 70 out of 70 or changelist 987013. Let's hop right into the game. Go to level select here, and then level 1. So if we look here at 295 again, the level introduces the player to these combat system mechanics, which is attacking, blocking, tornado ability, and the potion ability. In the beginning here, I have a note which the player has to read to open this door. So the note states that basic combat for dummies. So use the left mouse button, L and B, for basic sword attacks. Use the right mouse button, R and B, to block incoming attacks. Use left shift to throw your spear. So this gives a basic introduction to attacking, blocking, and spear throwing, which spear throwing isn't a completion criteria of 295, but attacking and blocking are. So, if we get right here, you'll see that there's a mummy enemy right here. So since I showed the player that note in the beginning, now they know how to attack and block with the right mouse button, and attack with the left. And right here, since we can't reach the mummy, or the enemy, we will throw a spear at them. And to demonstrate the loss condition here, I'll die to this mummy. Right here. Only have 40 gold. It takes 500 gold to revive in place. So if I don't have enough gold, it should make me restart the level for the loss condition. Well, that sucks. Your gold amount is too pitiful. You can't buy another chance with that amount. So sigh, and it makes me restart it completely over. Restart completely over. So gotta read the note again, which introduces the combat. Okay. Now if we come right here and look back at 295, it says tornado ability for the next piece of completion criteria. And if we come up to this note right here, it reads, tornadoes. I never saw that coming. Use the E key, even though it's a little scrunched together, to cast the tornado ability. Warning, please face toward what you want to kill, not away. So, that teaches us how to use the tornado ability, or the tornado key, which is the E button on the HUD. So if we come right here, and we use the tornado ability to kill all the spiders right here. Okay. Now if we look at 295 again, and we go and look at the last piece of completion criteria, it is the potion ability. So, if we go to this node right here, the blue potions. Use the blue potions to protect your body from harm and not die to multiple enemies. And then it's the Q, it's dash Q, which is the Q button, which you're supposed to use. So if you pick up these blue potions right here, we should now be able to use Q to shield ourselves. So if we go here, that now since we've taught them attacking, blocking, the tornado ability, and the potion ability, the completion criteria is now met for 295. So if we also go over to 294, in the first room we've introduced the mummy enemy, and in the second room we've introduced the spider enemy. Or the hallway we've introduced the spider enemy. So the completion criteria for 294 is also done. So now if we look at 296 here, The level introduces the player to these destructible objects, which is explosive barrel, vases, and crates. So, we haven't gotten explosive barrels yet, but we do have vases and crates right here. And I put them in every room, along with gold, so the player can destroy them, get more potions, or get more gold, and kind of introduce the player that way to the destructible crates and destructible vases. Down here. Down here, we use the Potionability that we were taught just a minute ago with a note. And we were able to avoid all the damage we took from that little mob. Do it again. We're also able to avoid all the damage we were taking from that mob. If you see this gate, it's going down now when all the enemies are dead. We can go over to the RG 298, and in the completion criteria, it says the level introduces the player to these locked doors. The valve door, which is the one where it goes down when all the enemies are dead, and the note one as well, which is an extra to the completion criteria, or not to the completion criteria, but an extra I added. The key door is the only thing we have left in 298. So if we go right here, we can see up on this pedestal, we have a key. We can pick up the key. And that gold door right there is the key door. So now if we go back to 298, we've already introduced the valve door. Now the key door is also introduced in this second room right here. And the completion criteria for 298 is complete whenever we unlock this door with a key. So one thing I didn't add to my teach abilities was the dash, but it's still taught in the introduction level. If we go right here, we stay dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dash. Use the spacebar button to dash forward a certain distance to deal damage to the enemy and dodge traps. So it now teaches us how to use the dash and the space button. Whoops. Okay. As you can see before, were those spikes on our issue 299. In this hallway specifically, we teach the player time spikes, which is the spikes that are going up continuously like that. And then the pressure plate spikes here now are the ones that you step on, and then you step off, or step on, and then it primes and then goes up. So the the completion criteria for RG299 is completed because we introduced the time spikes and the pressure plate spikes to the player. Oops. Okay. So now we are back to RG 296. The level introduces the player to these destructible objects, which is vases, crates, and explosive barrels. We've already shown the player vases and crates in the refuge areas. Explosive barrels are now up, which are these red barrels that we can attack and cause them to explode. So now that we've taught the player explosive barrels, 296, subtask 296 is I've meet all completion criteria for 296. Now over to 297. The level introduces the player to these pickups. Golden potions, which are in the refuge rooms, and health pickups, which are turkey and ham. The hearts are turkeys, and the hams are the crosses. So, and in each refuge room, there's always gold and destructibles, as well as pickups up on the table, and potions, and some potions. So if we go here, the yellow potions, use the yellow potions to fill your body with rage and gain the strength to smash through walls. So if we come in here, this is a thing I added that's not a part of the completion criteria, but it teaches the player the rage potion. It makes them grow bigger and able to destroy certain walls. Now on to my regular completion criteria that's not subtasks. The level has to have a definitive layout. As I went through the whole level, that is my layout and has a definitive layout. I showed when the player runs out of gold for reviving and dies, they lose the game and they start it over. There, I met that completion criteria. And at the end of the level, the player walks through a portal that leads to the next level, which is right here. And as soon as you walk through this portal, it'll go to the next level. So my regular completion criteria, which are not subtasks, which is for 269, is the level has to have a definitive layout. I've met that. At the end of the level, the player has to walk through a portal, which leads to the next level. That has also been met. And before I showed you when the player runs out of gold for reviving and dies, they lose the game. I have also met that. The last thing I have to show is the last piece of completion criteria for health pickups for RG297. So if we go back here and do level select right here, just go through the game and go right here. So if we can see right here, there is a cross right there, which is the ham, and the hearts near the end of the level are the turkey. And for subtask or RG 297, it is health pickup. The level introduces the player to these pickups: health pickups, turkey and ham, gold and potions, which I've shown here and meet the completion criteria for RG 297. Gold, potions, and health pickup. So again, going back to RG 269. My completion criteria for RG 269 is the level has to have a definitive layout. It does. I go through the whole level, and it has a complete level layout. At the end of the level, the player walks through a portal that leads to the next level and gives the win condition. I meet that, and to show the loss condition again here, I will go in and die in this room twice to show that when I run out of gold, the player has to restart the level. Okay, so I don't have enough gold to revive. It makes me completely restart the level and lose. So I have met that completion criteria. If we can go here, go down again. I introduced the mummies in the first room and the spiders in the first hallway. Throughout the level, as the player reads notes, it teaches them the attacking, blocking, tornado, and potion ability. In each restroom, crates and vases are shown, and in the third room, explosive barrels are shown and taught as well. For 297, the level introduces player to these pickups. I show in the first restroom ham, which is the cross, and in the last restroom before the win condition, ham or turkey, sorry, and gold and potions are in the first restroom area as well. So it shows gold, and I meet the completion criteria for 297. Now for 298. The level introduces the player to these locked doors. The key door is in room 2, and the valve door is also in room 2. You have to kill all the enemies before the door goes down to get the key. So I meet completion criteria for 298. And now 299. The level introduces the player to these hazards. In the hazard hallway, there are time spikes and pressure plate spikes that the player is introduced to. So I meet all completion criteria for RG 299. And with all the completion criteria complete here for 269, I meet all the completion criteria for 269, or specifically the introduction level. Thank you again. This was Dawson Majors with Team Ragamuffin. You have a good night.
Hi, my name is Isabel Wilson. I'm a part of Team Ragamuffin, and I'm going to be showing off my issues for our first milestone in game balancing. So let's get started. Okay, for my first issue, I have RG 301, and it says As an updated explosive barrel, I want to be able to be picked up, carried, and thrown by the player, explode on impact when thrown without activating the timer, and have a slightly shorter fuse timer when activated normally. My completion criteria for this is fuse timer for barrel is now 2 seconds instead of 4 when activated on hit. I have a couple subtasks underneath that, so this is subtask 305 through 308. So this is player can pick up the barrel. The next one is player can carry the barrel while walking. Player can throw the barrel, and the barrel explodes on impact when thrown. Sorry, I'm gonna get into this and show everything as it has progressed. Okay, I skipped over to level 3 because I know that it will be more quickly shown in this level. Let me just get over to the air. Get these enemies out of the way really quick. Okay, so what we want to look at is the first completion criteria, which is the fuse timer for the barrel is now 2 seconds instead of 4 when activated on hit. So on hit, 1, 2, and there it is. Instead of 4, which it was before, we had some comments that the barrel timer was way too long, so we adjusted that. Get these guys out of the way. Okay, our second completion criteria is the subtask 305, which is player can pick up the barrel. And we walk toward it and we don't hit it. You can see the interact message pop up, which is F to pick up. So let's pick it up. Now we have it. It's attached to our person. The next completion criteria we have is subtask 306, which is player can carry the barrel while walking. And as we just could see, I can walk wherever I want, and it is attached to me. Alright, the next criteria is subtask 307, which is player can throw the barrel. So let's just go ahead and hit our attack button, which is kind of our way of disallowing our player to attack while throwing the barrel, because that would be unrealistic. Not that we necessarily are looking for hyperrealism here, but you know what I mean. And then our last criteria is subtask 308, which is the barrel explodes on impact when thrown, and we saw that already, but let's just go look at it again. Let's throw it at something fun. Hit one of these guys. It explodes, and it also destroys destructible objects. I'm going to get knocked out by this guy. Right, so that is RG301 and subtasks 305 through 308 completed. I'm going to move on to the next one now. Okay, I jumped over to level 2 because this has probably the best showcase of the crown mechanic here. So let's pick up our crown real quick. Also picked up a little key. Let's move this over here. I will show you that the damage threshold is exceeded by one of these little spike traps. Well, it should be. So let's try one of these. Okay, so it looks like my crown is not getting knocked off anymore. This may have to do with the spike traps being set to a deal lower damage than what is defaulted to program. So I'm actually unable to show that task right now. So I'm going to move on to the rest of my tasks that I had completed for this sprint. So the next one is, as an updated delayed spike trap, I want a shorter delay timer for a higher risk of damage, and I want my visual script in BP delayed spikes to be reorganized for maximum efficiency. This is a task type, it's not a user story, so a lot of these are designer facing or developer facing and not player facing. So I will show what is player facing, what I can show in game, and I can just kind of explain what I did with the blueprint itself as far as the script is concerned. So let's get into it. Okay, I've cleared out all the enemies in this first little area here to showcase the delayed spikes. This is in level 3. So my completion criteria that I can show, one of the points is, after sufficient testing, shorten the delay timer on the spike trap to activate the hazard as soon as the player steps off of it, if constantly moving. So let's go ahead and showcase that. So right here you can see it's pretty quick. About as soon as I step off. I left a little bit of room for if the player for some reason wanted to lead one of the enemies over it, but unfortunately we're having some collision issues with the enemies. They cannot step on the spike traps, and that was not one of my completion criteria, so I just left that be. If I were to stand on it, or a delay for any minute, just, oh. As you can see, I played myself a little bit by waiting on it too long. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the timed spike traps. After explaining that the reorganization for the delayed spikes basically just happened in the form of creating functions, setting a lot of the code to functions, and then calling the functions themselves. That way we can find bugs a little bit easier if we know kind of what we're looking for. I added a little bit more detailed comments to the section, to the sections that were programmed. If you were to take a look inside our editor, you would see. But, right, I'm gonna move on. Okay, I'm at the place in level 1 where I can showcase my next task, which is also a task type issue, RG304, which says, as an updated time spike trap, I want to add an instance editable float variable to represent a start delay before activating the trap. Implement the variable near the begin play for time spikes, for BP time spikes. And I want my visual script in BP time spikes to be reorganized and efficient. So just like the last one in delayed spikes, I can't show the reorganization, so I'm going to leave that aside for now and move on with the ones that I can show, which is kind of the visual representation of and the use of the start delay for the time spikes. Alright, so as you can see, they all kind of come up and go down at the same time. So let me just read this. So let me get past this one area. None of these are implementing the start delay. Takes a second to get past them all. Alright, I have kind of fast forwarded to a part where it does show the delay. As you can see, these spikes all kind of start and stop at different times. So we kind of made them in a staggered position here. In the blueprint, I added kind of like a way that you could delay the start editable in world, so that we could create this effect instead of having everything just rise and fall uniformly, just to add a little bit more variation and pizzazz, if you will. There you go. But they still do the same amount of damage. They still do it's pretty hefty damage, so that works pretty good. Okay, well, that is all I have that I can show for now. Again, my name is Isabel Wilson, and thanks for watching.